It's Friday, fool, and you need this tool. Welcome back to the glorious episode of It's Friday, fool, you need this tool. My name is Kyle Voss, and on Fridays, I bring you a tool that I use here in this shop or that I've featured on this channel. So this week's tool is a good one. Been kind of aware of this tool for a long time. Haven't had this tool for a long time though. So years ago I did some filming with a guy down in Atlanta, Chris Schmidt Fabrication. You may remember some of the builds he did. He did a Formula D GTR build. He did a bunch of stuff. Anyway, he had a version of this tool here. Now this is, well, it's basically just a big belt sander, a handheld belt sander, but it's made for polishing. So this thing has some flex to it. This arm right here kind of actuates in. It's got a spring on the back that kind of holds tension, if you will. And this particular one here, I bought it as a kit. It came with a bunch of different sanding belts. So like this is 800 grit, 400 grit, 180, 80, and 60 grit. So it's got all these sanding belts with it. You can basically sand any kind of tube or pipe. I've seen a lot of guys use these if they make like handrails where the welds are. They'll kind of go through, clean up those welds around the handrail, and you can polish that handrail and smooth it up and make it nice and clean. What I did, because you guys know I like some Scotch-Brite, I bought the same size Scotch-Brite pads as the sanding discs, and that's what I've got on here now. And mainly I did this because what I want to do with it is just clean up chromoly tube. So if I'm doing some roll bar work, you want these ends to be nice and clean, to weld them. So you clean them up, then you notch them where you need to, and then they're ready to go. Or you could really just clean the entire tubes. It'll save on your bending dies. So if you have dies that you're using in a bender, a lot of times the grit on these tubes from the factory will scar those dies over time, so you can clean the whole tube itself. The one problem with cleaning the entire tube is then you have to worry about the entire tube flash rusting. So a lot of guys just clean the ends, the center parts with this coating on it. It's got some oil and stuff in there too. Usually stays pretty clean and you don't have any problems with them flash rusting. Now this particular tool was originally made by one company, and I can't think of the name of the company, and the tool was super expensive. I think it was like 800 bucks or something. Since then you've had several companies come out with knockoffs, basically like what you see here. In the past, those knockoffs have had some issues. The motors themselves usually work pretty good. The functionality of the equipment usually worked pretty good. Most of the time the problem was in the spring. The spring itself really didn't have enough tension on it, so when you would kind of push into that tube, it would slip on the wheel that drives the belt itself. This one works awesome. It's got a rubber kind of grip on the wheel, which makes sure that it holds on to that belt. So yeah, no problems with this one. Now what I have seen people do in the past, and Chris did this as well, he bought one of these, we're gonna say budget model units. And then what he did is he just upgraded the spring itself, which fixed the problem that he was having. I've also seen guys use like a bungee cord. They'll attach it out here and then back to here. I mean, get you by in a pinch, I guess. So anyway, this particular unit is made by Blue Rock, and so far I'm very happy with it. It works really well. It has a speed dial on the back, so you can kind of dial up the speed you want, fast, slow, medium, and really, in this kind of work, you don't need to go super fast. You don't need to bear down super hard. You just need a nice constant speed, get that thing clean. Now when it comes to these sanding belts, that may be a little bit different. These have a little more grip to them, obviously, and you may need to go a little faster to make those work. I actually haven't used any of these, to be totally honest with you. Like I said, everything I do is with the 3M. Actually, these aren't even 3M. Oh yeah, they are. The 3M Scotch-Brite belts. Like I said, this pack came with all these belts. So you get all these and this. I bought a 5-pack of the Scotch-Brite separately. I think there were like 30 bucks or something. So yeah, you got your speed dial on the back. You got your trigger here, which just locks. You kind of flip that thing up, it locks in, and you go to work, doing your thing. The other thing that's cool about this is I'm almost positive that you could go buy like a blue rock grinder, sander, polisher style setup. It would bolt right in. This head attachment would bolt right in, no issues. So if you ever had any problems like this, you could just go buy the sander. The reason I say that is because right here on it, it says grinder, sander, polisher, which tells me that they probably use the same one for everything. One of the other things I did too, on the picture itself, it had the hand grip on the other side of this, which I felt like was kind of funky, so I moved it to the other side, which I like better. So along with like roll bar tubing and stuff like that, you could also do any kind of pipe work that you might be working on. Pipe, tubing work. So stainless tubing, if you're making exhaust or headers, or yeah, really anything, induction tubing, and you get finished creating what you want to create, and you want to go through and clean all that stuff up. Say you make a nice piece of exhaust, you can run this thing down there, you can get all the nooks and crannies, clean it up real nice, put a nice brush in it. I don't know if you can see that, but it does a really, really good job. So like you've seen, it just takes a few seconds. You kind of run that thing over this, and she cleans her up nice and clean, no problems. Yeah, this week's tool. So as always, I'll drop you some links in the description. These are very affordable compared to the original ones. I don't remember how much this one was, but a couple $100 maybe. So yeah, if you think this is something you can go use, go check it out. Links in the description, like I said. And put this on your wish list for Christmas. Let the wife buy it for you. Tell her you need to clean the handrails or something. There you go, guys. This week's tool, the polisher tube working sander thing. You'll like it. This thing's awesome. It works really well. One thing I haven't mentioned either that you could probably do, and I may try it at some point, you could probably mount this thing somehow. Right, and then you just click it on, and then you basically just run the tube in there by hand. So you don't actually have to hold it. Almost be like a bench mounted contraption. All right guys, as always, thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys some more this week. It's Friday, fool.